In this video, we're going to look at the way Irish people speak the English language. And as you'll see, the Irish language has certainly left its mark on it. The English that we speak in Ireland is called Hiberno-English, but it's a form of English that has been expertly infiltrated by the Irish language, which has left its mark with words, verbs and grammar that give the English we speak a certain Celtic flavour. You see, when the English invaded Ireland and colonised our land, the local Irish population had to figure out a way to understand our foreign overlords. Don't forget that Irish was the dominant language on the island hundreds of years ago, but this was ruthlessly suppressed by the English. So Irish people had to learn English, but they translated it in their own way by learning and speaking English with certain Irish grammar rules. And this can be seen today by the way we say, he has started. So that would be the regular English language way of saying it. In Irish, it's tá sé tar éis tosú. Tá sé tar éis tosú. So it literally means he's after starting. So tá sé is he is, as in present tense. Tar éis is the Irish words for after or afterwards, and then tosú is the verbal noun to start, so it basically means start or starting. Tá sé tar éis tosú. So in English I would say he's after starting. It's like we're speaking English but with certain Irish language parameters. Another feature of Hiberno-English is the lack of a TH sound, like the TH in that. So I wouldn't pronounce it like that, I just say that. This is another unbroken and unbreakable link with the mother tongue. In Irish, there is no TH sound as such, so words like husig, hánig and hart, which means start, came and around, are pronounced with a h sound. Husig, hánig and hart. The closest we have is a D sound, as in the Irish word dera, which means end, dera. So in Hiberno-English, words like that, this, those and them are a D sound in general. And when it comes to the number 3, I pronounce it just like it is in Irish. In Irish, it's a tree. That's the Irish word for the number 3, a tree. So in English, I just say it this way, tree. Kind of like the tree you'd see planted in the ground outside. And not 3, because to me, that just sounds weird. So it's tree, not 3. Another feature of Hiberno-English is the addition at the end of sentences of and I or and me. And again, this is living proof that the Irish language lives on in Hiberno-English, and it reminds us of what we once were and what we could be in future. For example, I could say the following sentence: he came in and I leaving. He came in and I leaving. That will be my way of saying he came in just as I was leaving. Now, if we look at the Irish language way of saying it, then it's word for word of the Hiberno-English language version. Hánig sé isteach agus mé ag imeacht. Hánig sé isteach agus mé ag imeacht. So that literally means word for word, he came in and I leaving. So hánig sé, he came, isteach is in, agus mé, and me, or and I, depending on what way you want to look at it. And then ag imeacht is the verbal noun for leaving, ag imeacht. Hánig sé isteach agus mé ag imeacht. He came in and I leaving. In Irish, we have the words bean and beam, which are part of the present habitual tense, which is not a feature of regular English, but it is a big part of Hiberno-English. It's like describing something that takes place in the present tense, but on an ongoing basis. So instead of me saying, I am there every day, I would say, I do be there every day. I do be there every day. Let's look at this example, which shows the present habitual tense and the and I and me ending that I talked about a few moments ago. Beam on a vowel agus me ag siúl. So word for word, this means I do be. So beam is like referring to me, as in I do be, like doing something on an ongoing basis. On a vowel means very slow. Anna vowel. Agus me, and me or and I. Ag shul then means walking. Bím anna vowel agus me ag shul. In regular English, that would translate into I'm slow as I walk. But in Hiberno-English, I would say it the following way. I do be slow and I walkin'. I do be slow and I walkin'. So you can clearly see again that the Hiberno-English version is more or less word for word of what the Irish language version is when you translate it over. Here's another example of the present habitual tense. Bíonn siad ag córa ar líne. That means they do be talking online, as in they make a habit of it, or they talk online on a regular or an ongoing basis. So that's the habitual present tense that's made its way into Hiberno-English from the Irish language. It's kind of like a supercharged version of the present tense. As any learner of Irish knows, there is no word for yes or no. Instead, we just answer based on the question. For example, An bhfuil tú réig is the question, are you ready? An bhfuil tú réig. Tá mé réig, I am ready. Níl mé réig, I am not ready. So you're not answering yes and no, you're just answering directly from the question that was asked. An nearna tú é. Did you do it? An nearna tú é. Rinne mé é, I did it. Rinne mé é. Or ní nearna mé é, I didn't do it. Now, it's important to state very clearly that in Hiberno-English, the words yes and no are very common and quite a normal part of everyday conversation. But you are also just as likely to hear questions answered by reference to the way the question was asked in the first place. Are you ready? I am ready. Or I am. Or I'm not ready. Did you do it? I did it. I didn't do it. In Hiberno-English, you might well find some double syllable pronunciations that would just be single syllables in regular English. For example, I say this word here as film. Film. You can hear a double syllable there. To me, it would be strange to say it as a one syllable word like film, film. It's more comfortable for me to say film. It's like an extra vowel to help with the speech pattern that may go back to our Irish language days. It's possible that it could be connected to how common an and na are in Irish as linking words and key parts of sentences. Because Irish has lots of eclipses and uru, which basically means that some words change partially. For example, sa and on together turn into son. That means inde. Sa and on together means son, inde. So these extra syllables could be a potential hangover from the Irish language. For example, Anna va here means very good. Anna va. Now you can also say that on va or on wa or on why. It depends on the dialect. But the way I said it there, Anna va, you'll notice that there's a little extra vowel in there between the words on and va. Anna va. And some people might say farm or worm with two syllables, whereas in regular English it might be just one syllable. I would say farm like this, farm, farm. And I'd say worm like this, worm, worm. Now I'm not sure if two syllables are part of the way I say farm and worm, but that's just the way I say them anyway. So as you know, the Irish language is all around us. It's all around us in our place names, as I've touched on in numerous videos before. It's also around us in our personal names, and as you will have learned in this video, it's all around us through the way we speak and listen to Hiberno-English. So it's important to remember that. It's part of who we are, and it's part of who we always will be. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and I'll be back soon with another one. Thank you very much for watching. Slán go fóill.